Hello, good morning, students. This is Professor Chandra Shekhar Dhamande, SIRT Applied Science Department, Bhopal. Dear students, I am a teacher of English communication, and in today's video lecture, I am going to give you a very special information about one important topic, that is how to overcome the barriers to communication. Dear students, this is an important lesson of first year BT 103 and second year Cyber and AIML 301. Dear students, this is an important question, so watch this video till the end so that you can understand what are barriers and how to overcome them. Although in the previous video you have seen, understood what is the barrier to communication. But in order to learn and understand how to overcome them, we will have a quick review of what is barrier and then we'll talk about how to overcome them. I will use bilingual, means both Hindi and English, to understand the concepts properly for those whose English is not so up to date. So let's start. First of all, let me tell you, there are various type of barriers. There are so many type of barriers, but if we have to take down them in a list, so we find certain 7 barriers. Those are important to be understood and also how to overcome them. So one thing is very clear, एक चीज बहुत साफ है कि इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर बैरियर्स, अगर आप समझ जाते हैं कि बैरियर्स क्या हैं, तो उन्हें दूर करने के तरीके भी आप ऑटोमेटिकली समझ ही जाएंगे. So the first barrier which comes while communication is a language barrier. As we know that we live in India where there are hundreds of languages and we have around 20 official languages that are used across the states. So it's very important to understand the difference between all these languages and how can we manage the things. So it's very obvious that when we communicate someone, the person who is listening to you might not well acquainted with your language. So make sure your listener understand the same language that you are going to speak. So in this regard, the first barrier comes is the language barrier. And to overcome this barrier, I would give you some fantastic suggestions. If your listener and you have the common language, even then, don't use difficult words, don't use such jargons, don't use idiomatic languages, and don't use very difficult grammar pattern. So the solution is use simple words, use simple grammar, use simple vocabulary, avoid idiomatic languages if you know that your listeners are not well acquainted with the language. सो पहला बैरियर है लैंग्वेज बैरियर, जिसमें आपकी भाषा और लिसनर की भाषा अगर समान नहीं है तो आपको ये सुनिश्चित करना है कि लैंग्वेजेस आपकी सेम हो. दूसरी बात, आप ऐसे शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करें, ऐसी ग्रामर का इस्तेमाल करें जो आपके लिए और लिसनर के लिए दोनों के लिए ही सुविधाजनक हो. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द सेकंड बैरियर. द सेकंड बैरियर इज कॉल्ड फिजिकल बैरियर. फिजिकल बैरियर का मतलब होता है ऐसा बैरियर जो आपके आसपास के माहौल से उत्पन्न हुआ हो. इफ यू आर मेकिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन एंड इफ इट इज टू मच नॉइस आउटसाइड or some construction work is going on and you are not being able to make your sound louder enough so that your listener can listen. In this order, make sure कि आपका environment, आपका atmosphere आसपास का शांत हो. तो communication करते समय choose an environment, a place where there is a quiet atmosphere. The second thing is that if it is not possible, then use microphone, speakers, ऐसे gadgets का इस्तेमाल करें जिससे आप अपनी बात ठीक से कह पाएं. आगे बढ़ते हुए अगर हम कहें कि कम्युनिकेशन को सही करने के लिए सही लाइटिंग और सही वातावरण यानी कि हवा का प्रभाव भी होना चाहिए, वेंटिलेशन पर्याप्त होना चाहिए. सो इन दिस केस व्हेन यू डोंट हैव सच थिंग्स, मेक श्योर लाइटिंग बढ़िया हो और वहां का बहुत ज्यादा गर्मी ना हो, बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी ना हो. बिकॉज इफ यू आर मेकिंग एनी कम्युनिकेशन एंड इफ योर लिसनर्स आर रेस्टलेस, दे आर परस्पायरिंग, so whatever you are going to speak, it would not be comfortable for them to understand. तो अपनी बातों को आगे तक पहुंचाने के लिए, फिजिकल बैरियर को दूर करने के लिए माइक्रोफोन सही हो, क्वाइट एटमॉस्फेयर हो और आपके पास प्रॉपर टूल्स हो जिससे आप अपनी बात लाउडली कह पाए. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द थर्ड बैरियर एंड दैट इज साइकोलॉजिकल बैरियर. Psychology is something which plays a very important role in human understanding. If you are mentally not prepared to listen anything, then no matter how lighting was good, no matter how sound was fantastic, no matter the language is same, but psychological barrier is something that needs to be keep balanced in a very fantastic way. So psychological barrier is something when you are not ready to listen mentally. If you are angry and I'm going to speak something to you, then obviously something else is going on in your mind. Suppose you are hungry, so you would not pay attention properly. If someone is fearful, he is scared of something, then no communication can impact that person. In this situation, you have to practice speaking, right? You have to practice patience. And while speaking, make sure the speaker and listener both are in good mental condition. If both are in good mental condition, then the communication will go fantastically. And you should listen to others with open mind. If we have any kind of assumption, if we have any kind of emotional aggregation in your mind, then definitely you are not going to listen someone carefully. So make sure you keep your mind fresh and your listeners are also in the same mental conditions. If it goes well, then definitely you can make your communication fantastic. You can overcome the barrier of psychology by this method. Now, emotion is something that is somehow related with psychological barrier. There is one more barrier that we call emotional barrier. So emotional barrier means, again we can say that you have some emotions, you do not have friendly atmosphere, you have some previous assumption in your mind. So to overcome emotional barrier, you have to be emotionally strong and make sure your listeners are also in the same emotional condition. Then we'll talk about cultural barrier. What are these? Cultural barrier क्या होता है? अगर आपकी कल्चर, आपके कस्टम, आपके रीति रिवाज, आपके तौर तरीके और लिसनर के तौर तरीके अलग होते हैं, तो आप जो कहना चाहते हैं हो सकता है कि वो बात लिसनर तक ना पहुंचे. In that condition, you need to be open hearted. You need to understand and respect others' cultures. It may not be suitable for you, but if your listener follow some other culture, so respect it, understand it, and try to communicate in the way your listener doesn't get offended. आपकी पूरी कोशिश होनी चाहिए कि आपके जो श्रोता हैं, आपके जो लिसनर हैं, वो आपकी बात को अच्छी तरह से समझ रहे हों. आगे चलते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बैरियर की तरफ. वन मोर important barrier is called organization barrier. In big organizations, when order goes from the top and reach to the bottom, sometimes a long chain of communication creates a barrier. So the solution of this problem is to make this chain shorter as much as possible. जो हायरार्की है उसमें ऑर्डर देने वाले और ऑर्डर पाने वाले दोनों के बीच कम से कम फासला हो और क्लियर मैसेज हो, रिटन मैसेज हो, वॉइस मैसेजेस हो, जिससे जो बात कही जा रही है वो उसी तरह पहुंचे जिस तरह से उसको पहुंचना चाहिए. सो and it's very important to have this chain in long big organization, because big organization doesn't work on personal level, they work on professional level. So if you want to make your voice reach to all the chains of the communication, then organization barrier में इसको करना जरूरी है. There are some more solution to it, that follow proper chain and share the information clearly and quickly. Time plays a very important role in this regard. Come to the next, and that is technical barrier. Obviously, you should have all the technical tools updated. Don't use older tools, use modern tools. Update them time to time. Check network while before you make a communication. Suppose you are going to give a presentation somewhere, so your network internet connection should be proper, and we have to pre-check it, and we have to do practice, we have to do rehearsals. If we do so, then definitely your communication barrier would become better. Now, the last barrier is called perceptual barrier. Some people already have some pre-presumptions. Some people already think that they don't need any kind of proper communication. In this regard, the barrier is created. So, to overcome it, do not presume. Do not presume anything. If you go somewhere, it's okay that you are very intelligent, but try to understand the assumptions of other people. And in case of any doubt, you should ask questions, and others also understand others' viewpoint. Because if we do not respect others' viewpoint, then definitely we cannot make any communication. So this way, all these tricks, all these suggestions will help you understand how to overcome the barriers, और साथ ही साथ इसमें आपको हेल्प मिलेगी एग्जाम को लेकर प्रिपेयर करने के लिए. तो अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता है एग्जाम में डियर स्टूडेंट, तो आपको इसे कम से कम 500 वर्ड्स में लिखने की जरूरत होती है इफ इट गोज टू बिटवीन 5 एंड 10 मार्क्स। सो प्रैक्टिस इट, लिखकर प्रैक्टिस कीजिए। अगर आप लिखकर प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो चीजें आपके दिमाग में जल्दी से आ जाती हैं। सो दैट्स ऑल अबाउट माय टुडेज वीडियो। Hopefully you understood the concept of barriers and how to overcome them. Now if you have watched this video for the long 10 minutes, then share it with your friends, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to like the video. See you in the next lecture. Till then, have fun and keep improving.